hotel, and I said, Minister, you don't eat after 6 o'clock. It's after 6. And I said, I want to invite you to the state capitol tomorrow. And he said, welcome. I said, absolutely. As long as I'm in the capitol, you're welcome. And he said, I'll get back with you in 30 minutes. And about 30 minutes later, after conferring with his team, I'm sure Stephen was in the conversation, called back and said, okay, what time? And I told him what time. Early that morning, I got up and went to the Capitol around 7 a.m. And all of the brothers were around the whole region, not just the Capitol, but they were at City Hall, courthouse. They were everywhere, dressed to the nines, bow ties and sharp suits that I used to wear during the session. And Speaker Tom Murphy, the Speaker of the House, he saw me early that morning. He said, Representative, what's going on today? I see all those young men all around the region, and they are really dressed. I said, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is coming this morning. And he said, really? I said, yes. I said, I've made arrangements, and we're going to hear from him today as to why we should go to Washington, D.C. and have what we call the Million Man March. So we brought the minister in. And I had Representative Senator Diana Harvey Johnson, Senator Diana Harvey Johnson from Savannah, Georgia, who was chair of the Legislative Black Caucus, the Legislative General Assembly. And I happen to be the president of all of the elected officials from Congress, state lawmakers, county commissioners, mayors, judges, sheriffs. Stephen articulated that. So I was the president of the bigger group, but I wanted her as a female to be sitting there with us. So we put Minister Farrakhan in the middle. She was flanking him on his left. I was flanking him on his right. And I introduced the minister. I said, tell us why we should go to Washington. And he did. And he articulated it very well. Well, the room was filling up with lawmakers. I mean, they came from everywhere. Christians and Jews and Catholics and Protestants. Everybody was coming. I mean, it seemed like the room was just the diversity of the world's religious population, plus civil ministers, and how Washington with the million men to atone for all of the things we haven't been doing right, and challenging us to stand up and be real men. And I said, who could argue against that? I mean, that cuts across every nationality, every ethnicity. It cuts across political boundaries. Everybody should want men to be real men and meet our responsibilities. Take care of your families, raise your children, do the right thing in your communities. So the minister was very, very articulate for 2 hours. He had the audience spellbound. You could hear a pin fall on the carpet. He was just talking about why he was going to lead us to Washington. And he thanked me, of course, for committing. And I said, absolutely.